Among all the things that waste our time, there is one that stands out more than any other. Not only does it waste our time, it drains our energy. Want to know what it is and how to fix it? Watch this short video. I'm Bob Windover. So, do you know what it is? It's worrying about what other people think. Are you guilty of this? I sure am at times. Want to fix it? Well, stay tuned for a second. But first, let's talk about why it happens, because that's a part of the solution. In many ways, we can't help it. Jack Canfield, the author of the mega hit series Chicken Soup for the Soul, used to ask groups that he spoke to, have you ever compared yourself to someone else and come out exactly even? The answer, of course, is no. We always feel like we're better than somebody else, or maybe they're better than us. Now, the criteria for these comparisons varies widely and is most of the time emotionally based. Now, these perceptions are the result of our limited understanding of the other person's personality and maybe their background and their perception of their own self-worth. The quiet colleague, for instance, who rarely participates in team discussions may be one of the most competent people you know. The person who needs to fill any silence with conversation may be seeking to kind of validate their own feelings. The bossy, control-oriented colleague who wants to run everything may be one of the most insecure people you've ever worked with. And all of these people and a number of others could be on your team all at the same time and in your workplace, right? So, where do you fit into all of this, and how much time and energy do you spend trying to navigate these personalities in politics? You feel exhausted after sitting through a meeting sometimes with a collection of people like this? That's the reason why. Now, this has been compounded, of course, by the digital world that we now exist in, where a slightly misinterpreted text or post or email can be the cause of angst and frustration or anger or perhaps laughter at the absurdity of what someone was trying to express in a text when picking up the phone, frankly, would have been just a lot more easy and efficient and effective. It's enough to drive anybody nuts sometimes, including you and I. So, how do you stop worrying about what other people think? Well, the truth is you don't. You can reduce its impact on your emotions and energy. How? Well, first of all, take a step back and consider the context. Do you really want to get into a disagreement over whether to have peanuts or maybe potato chips at the company gathering? Negative energy tends to beget negative energy. But if you don't react to the other person's anger or frustration or bossiness or petty comments, their energy will evaporate and the conversation will become civil. If it doesn't, you really should walk away regardless of the situation. Now, second, have some empathy. It's been said that every person has a public life and a private life and a secret life. Unless we're really good friends with someone, we only get to see their public life and they only get to see ours. But as Henry Wadsworth Longfellow observed so long ago, into every life some rain must fall. The fact that someone is lashing out at you or other people may mean that they're just struggling elsewhere in their life. The fact that they try to control everything around them may mean that work is the only place where they really believe they have control. When someone lashes out at me, I take a breath and let the energy dissipate. I don't take it personally. I just fear something else might be going on in their life. If they want to control everything, most of the time I yield. Besides, trying to control every little thing will exhaust them over time. But better them than me. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't care. If a project is going off the rails or in a less than wise direction, I will step in, especially if I have a solution that I think is going to work better. Now, third, do the right thing. Do I really have to say that? We see this sentiment on bumper stickers and billboards and coffee mugs, but how many of us actually really do it all the time? Acting in a selfish or manipulative or even a deceitful way not only comes back to bite you, it's a major drain on your own mental energy as you struggle to maintain the appearances or maybe keep the lie going. Now, frankly, I've never seen a person I admire do something like this, even would be the most expedient thing to do in the moment. And finally, act like a duck. Let stuff roll off your back, whatever that stuff may be. Someone's offhanded comment may rile you for a bit. Another person's humor at your expense may hurt momentarily, but don't stew about these things. Whether they're innocent or insensitive, the person saying them probably won't remember doing so in a couple of minutes. Spending time processing them will only intensify your feelings, and that's a complete waste of time and energy and focus. Observe the best thinkers around you. They tend to treat stuff like that like water off a duck's back, frankly. Remember, keep looking for ways to reduce the number of daily decisions you make, especially these type. What do you do to manage the worries that you have about what other people think sometimes? We'd all like to know. Put them in the comments below and make sure to subscribe to this channel for more practical ideas just like these. I'm Bob Windover.